It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name is Mike Royer.
And this week, we're getting our Thor tickets today, on Monday, while we're recording this.
Yes. Surprise, surprise, it's a Monday.
It's a surprise, yes. So a lot of people have reached out. We did plan this, yes. So you'll be hearing this either Monday night or Tuesday morning, but your Thor tickets are available. We'll talk about that in a second. Spider-Man is coming back to theaters, I guess. We'll talk about what that means. Black Adam finally gives us his first trailer and more.
Yes, and I assure you this podcast is not created by AI or artificial intelligence, even though I feel like we have enough audio in the backlog to we can do that. Just tell it to vamp in between bullets.
Yep.
But Chris and I both unknowingly were playing with, what's it called, DALL-E? I'm not even sure how it's pronounced, but it's DALL, then it's got the little bullet and then the letter E.
Yeah, like a DALL-E. It's like DALL-E maybe, like I don't know, but yeah, it's you put in a prompt.
Is it like a Doctor Who reference? Isn't there like a Dalek?
Well, yeah, but like this seems like a Wall-E, but like
oh yeah, that's true. It could be like a Wall-E thing, but it's a DALL-E.
Yeah. So you just put in a prompt and it spits out like a 9 images that it randomly generates with AI.
Yeah, and this is like the quote unquote like mobile friendly version. If you can like get access to like their, I guess, like closed beta, they have like a higher amped up one that'll give you like much better results visually, and I think also like faster. But I did a few Paddington doing a kickflip. That one was pretty cool. My wife wanted to see scuba diving in chocolate pudding, but it mainly created scuba divers finding chocolate pudding under the water, so that one was fun. And then googly eyes on bagel. That one is pretty fun too. I'm starting to see a lot more of them just like shared casually on Twitter. And a popular one I see is like blank street view. So like Godzilla, but like as seen through street view, or like security camera ones and stuff like that, or something in the style of a different painter. It's pretty crazy. So what are you giving us, Chris? Like a decade before all of our jobs are taken?
Yeah. I would say so. I mean, it's spitting on these images. I was just making like Simpsons shit posts with it. Familiar? Like just typing in, like Homer Simpson or Moe's Tavern or something stupid like that, just goofing around, and it'll still do it.
Surprisingly, I figured it would have a better handle on what Thanos looks like visually. And I tried to get Thanos breakdancing, and I didn't really get anything. Like, I got, like, some generic, like, breakdancing poses, and, like, at the very least, I thought they'd be purple. But not even that. So it definitely still has its limitations. But if you want to play around with some artificial intelligence, I don't even know what the website's called, but it's just search DALL-E. DALL, probably space, and then an E.
It's like -E, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, So the reason this is late is I've been in Austin, Texas all weekend, so literally Friday through today, Monday. So that's why we recorded a little later. So I was down there in the 107 minimum degree temperature heat, Mike.
But it's a dry heat, right? Isn't that what they say? It's a dry
it's hot.
heat.
It's hot no matter what you're in. In the shade, it's not too bad. In direct sunlight, it's just miserable. For a house cat as myself, so I've spent the past couple of weeks trying to build like a base tan, outside here and there. So I didn't burn, thankfully, but I will tell you, it is hot down there. A couple highlights, real fast. I went to Austin's Books and Comics, which I went there when I was there. Like, I was there 7 years ago, and they have like a life-size Hulk statue in the comic book store.
Great.
So I snagged my photo with it again. So I'm gonna have those side by sides later. Also was able to go to Top Notch Burger, which is the restaurant they filmed Dazed and Confused at. So that was really fun to do. And just kind of, my wife has friends there, and we just kind of visited the city a little bit here and there. I got my Whataburger. Did not know they have In-N-Out. And then, of course, to Mike's pleasant surprise, we went to a Buc-ee's. The one like this thing, despite the price of gas being so high, there was like literally 50 plus pumps or more at a Buc-ee's when you're there. And
I keep meaning to send this to you, but I found a sticker on a MacBook laptop that is the Buc-ee's logo,
okay,
but in the rendition of an Ewok. So it's like an Ewok kind of looking up into the distance on that yellow circle.
Oh yeah.
And I even tried to Google it, and like that sticker, I can't easily find it on the internet. So it's a rare sticker indeed. But the Buc-ee's love is real. Yeah,
it is. The day before, I believe it was on. Yeah, actually, I think Saturday morning we went to this park there. You pay to get in. They have like a natural river like flows through that you can swim in, right? And I was sitting there, just sitting on the bank hanging out, and the one guy comes up, sits down, towel. He's got on Buc-ee's swim trunks, like straight up. So the love for Buc-ee's in Texas is strong as ever. And then I didn't get to go to this, but I did drive by the Alamo Drafthouse Theater there several times. Nothing is out that I could get anyone to watch, but I would love to actually go to a Drafthouse Theater, which I don't know if you knew this. Recently, today actually sold their Mondo business to Funko, the poster business.
Okay.
So the Drafthouse sold Mondo to Funko. So if you like,
ooh, that's like a Bob Iger decision, since Bob Iger, former Disney CEO, I believe is a partial or major investor in Funko right now. So maybe he's like, let's get this poster. I don't know if you know this, but my last job, we dealt with a lot of posters actually.
Yeah, he knows a thing or two about selling merchandise, quite a bit of it. So if you start seeing Mondo posters in your Walmart aisles next to the Funkos, that's why. For that. And then you've got two movies here. The first one, feel free to spill your guts, but that second one, you tread lightly, sir. You tread lightly.
Yes, no spoilers. But I had a chance to go to two advanced screenings last week. One for Jurassic World Dominion, which advanced is in quotations. It was only a day early. I got to see it on Wednesday at a screening at Universal City Walk. So I was like at the home of Universal, watching Universal's probably biggest movie this year. And I went in with extremely low expectations and was given free popcorn and free drink. So everything was only looking up from there. And I had an okay time. I liked it better than the second one, Fallen Kingdom, but I am totally not oblivious to the review and chatter out there in the world. This one is kind of getting tanked. So if you look at this new Jurassic World series, they only get worse according to the critics as you go along. But there's kind of this iconic split right now between the audience and the critics on this third one. And you would think, that trend would be the same for Fallen Kingdom, the second film. Nope, the critics and the audience agreed that they didn't like that one. So
that's
something split here. I think it's the nostalgia, though, of the returning cast
it's funny
from the Jurassic Park movies.
I've seen a pretty good split on people because the cinema score gave it an A-, which was even higher than Doctor Strange, which was blowing my mind. So
it's interesting.
I don't know where they're interviewing these people.
I think honestly, what it comes down to, it's just the power of like dinosaurs on the screen. I don't know if there's just this primal part of our brain that's just like, if you just make a halfway competent action scene with a dinosaur in it, like I'm gonna give you a thumbs up. And I would say there's just enough dinos in this and the returning cast to get me to, I would say, recommend it to somebody, but I don't think they're doing anything crazy out of the ordinary here. Everything kind of just devolves yet again into people trapped inside what is ostensibly a park with dinosaurs in the movie. So it's strange that this one was supposedly supposed to kind of like cap off this trilogy or this saga, and they left it just as open-ended as I feel like they left the last movie. So strange times, but I had some fun, dinosaur fun. But remember, I went in with bottom barrel expectations. The only real one that I think shines is the very first Jurassic Park movie. Obviously, I have nostalgia for the second one that starred Jeff Goldblum. And then Jurassic World was just kind of like a fun kind of rehash, but everything else peppered around there is kind of Nah, crazy. So Jurassic
Right.
World Dominion, go out there, form your own opinions. I still feel like this is going to make money. I have not looked at the box office, but I'm sure that this will make its money back, and Universal will still be in business at the end of the summer.
Do you think
but-
they'll do like a third trilogy, another
I
reboot
think-
later down the road?
I think, how do you use this franchise and leave it wide open and not have like a Paramount Plus series on the table? I don't know exactly if you bring back really any of the cast, but I mean, if you got the dinosaur models in a computer already, just throw a couple animators and a VFX team, and it seems like you greenlight a streaming series because Paramount Plus needs it.
They have the animated series Camp Cretaceous
Mm-hmm.
that ties into these directly on Netflix.
Yeah.
Now, I might do those
Yeah,
are
I think-
animated, not CG, but like they're still.
Well, also, if I remember correctly, I think that's on Netflix,
That's
so
what I said,
that's
yes,
not
Netflix, yeah.
Yeah, that's not even bolstering the Paramount Plus. So don't be surprised if maybe within like the next couple of months
Look-
we see something greenlit for a series.
If they do, it's a very fine line to walk with the CG models. I mean, my question for you was going to be, how do the dinosaurs look in this, right? Because
They look great. And speaking of dinosaurs, my wife and I have been watching the Apple Plus David Attenborough kind of dinosaur documentary thing. And, I don't know if how the budget compares to like, a blockbuster summer action movie, but the dinosaurs on there look great too. So I think when it comes to rendering dinosaurs on a computer, I don't think it's that difficult anymore. It's just who wants to make the show. So yeah, that's my expectation is maybe they'll cool off the movies for a little bit, but streaming series for sure. But a much more advanced screening, which I guess since now it's the new week, Lightyear comes out here on Thursday. Thursday night, Friday for most other people. But I got a chance to see it this weekend. Lightyear, starring Chris Evans as the titular Buzz. And I had a great time. No spoilers, but it was super fun. They do a great job like doing like tongue-in-cheek references to the Buzz Lightyear and the canon that we're familiar with from the Toy Story movies. And also the production design is beautiful. Like if you were a fan of Legos in the 90s, and especially like those spaceship Legos, like I just love that aesthetic and look. And I feel like that's what they did in this movie. They like looked at 90s Lego sets and they're like, oh, let's go for that kind of like chunky, blocky, kind of 90s retro like science fiction, and I just love the production design throughout the movie. It's beautiful. The only caveat is going with a little bit of suspension of disbelief. I don't know if this is just because it's a kids movie that's also like a science fiction movie, but you do kind of have to like let the plot go just slightly to be like, oh, okay, let's move it along. So I'll leave it at that. Just don't harp on it too much, and I think you'll have a great time. I loved it. It was wonderful. I look forward to watching it again at some point in time, whether it's Disney Plus or maybe in theaters again. So Lightyear, big thumbs up. Recommendation.
Awesome. All right, well, let's kick into this. The other thing that went on this weekend was Microsoft Bethesda's Big Gamescom, and I was trying to go through it, but they have another extended preview tomorrow, so I was like, I don't really have anything, so we'll not talk about that, but we'll jump into the other kind of reveal this week was Marvel's Midnight Suns game with the release date and a couple other reveals. So this new trailer, they dive into Metallica yet again. The first one was Enter Sandman. This one is Master of Puppets. So they're leaning into that Metallica, soundtrack. So this one we get to see in this trailer, in our show notes here, links up. It reveals that the villain, I think her name's Lilith, is corrupting heroes and villains to be on her side and kind of giving them like some sort of like Diablo-esque demon and like looks to their characters, right? So that was really cool to see this, and also the big confirmation of Spider-Man's in this game. A lot of people are like, well, Sony has the lock on Spider-Man in games pretty much. They let him come out for Ultimate Alliance. The Avengers game only got out on PlayStation. He's got his own games over there. What will he be in this? And big confirmation right out the gate that Spider-Man will be in this game, as well as Scarlet Witch as well, who shows up in this trailer for a little bit here. I'm excited for this game. October 8th is a single-player game, so I think that's a huge win for it, right? Kind of like the Guardians of the Galaxy game is. You can pick it up, play it as you want, move through it. Have you ever played any of the XCOM games before, Mike? Or familiar with
No,
those?
I mean I'm slightly familiar with the gameplay style, but this does seem to be unique, at least to Marvel properties in this kind of gameplay, right?
Yeah. So they essentially took XCOM, where you have like turn-based battles. In you can move your characters and attack and so on and so forth, and then you have a card-based system for your abilities. So it looks like you'll unlock more cards with characters, get outfits. You can build relationships with characters, and like this, they have like a hub you go back to between missions, and you have conversations. So a lot like one of those conversational RPGs. So very excited for this. I love the cast of characters is a little eclectic in this, right? We talk about Spider-Man, Scarlet Witch. Sure, they're in the zeitgeist right now, but like you get Blade, you get Magic, you get the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider. I think those are really cool characters to bring to the forefront for a video game. This fighting demons. So
Yeah, the gameplay style is probably a reason why we're getting such kind of like breathtaking cinematic trailers, right? Like all of these trailers that we've had so far for Midnight Suns, it's like a thumbnail generating machine. Like every screenshot is just like awesome, because not only are you getting like these highly polished models of the characters, but they're usually in this alternative kind of like demon style, which is pretty cool. But also like an XCOM gameplay style probably doesn't lend itself too well for like a trailer, right? Because it's like turn-based. Like you can only make that look so exciting when you're not playing it. So that's probably why we're getting trailers that look so highly polished.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, these are all cutscenes, right? Like 100% for this. And I really enjoy, one of the big things about this is going to be the costuming. You're going to be able to unlock more costumes. The pre-orders get you early access to some of those suits. And this trailer, it looks like they leaned into some like that gold and black looks for everybody there. Even Spider-Man's kind of got like the gold and black suit with the red eyes. So really cool to see this. It's coming out in October, so I bet we'll see more gameplay over the next couple weeks as they get closer and closer to that. In case anyone missed it, Miss Marvel dropped on Disney Plus this week. Episode 1, not 2, not 3, just 1, as tradition. And I believe this is one of the higher rated properties. I think I saw on Rotten Tomatoes from critics on Disney Plus for Marvel. So very excited for that. It does have a mid-credit scene. For people who don't know, sometimes they do like the fancy stylized credits, and then it'll cut away to like it'll go small, and you're like, they made me wait for all this. But this one does have something afterwards. So that was really fun to see here. Overall, I mean, we can just do it quickly. There's really no spoilers in this. I think a lot of this was in the trailers, right, of this whole kind of scene going on here. But I will tell you, I now more than ever want a real-life Avengers Con that we can go to, Mike. That's just straight up Marvel MCU-themed convention for people to go to.
Yeah, the convention scene in it was kind of interesting because, you and I both have gone to like different styles and calibers of conventions, but this was like the strangest convention I think I've ever seen, where they've had like a gigantic Ant-Man and like Thor's hammer, but it's like kind of on this like lower budget side of things. So I had to like suspend my disbelief for somebody that is familiar with cons.
Well, it kind of seemed like not an official con like we've been to. Like, we've been like sponsored. I've been to stuff like this that are in like hotels, and this is like more like a back street, like a hey, the fans did this. We don't have a lot of money. Here's some artwork we've done. Here's some very cheap, I guess, Giant Man statues we made, kind of thing. But like it's like something maybe you see on a Facebook invite group rather than they're selling tickets out front. It was cool to see, Marvel Man Agent M there. Like I said, I've seen him at conventions, met him in person. He's a pretty cool guy. So he's down there. And honestly, I didn't expect to get the Scott Pilgrim looks, the animation styles. I really enjoyed how some of the texting messages were done, like on the sidewalks, the street.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Very clever.
They actually did come through with some of that animation, her fantasy world in the actual show. And that was pretty cool, because we were kind of like, is this in the show? Is it just for the trailer kind of thing?
Yeah,
and they went all in on it.
Yeah, very stylized. I love that look of it. I'm always a sucker for kind of like teenage coming of age stories in general, and I thought they were doing that pretty effectively. You always got to throw in like a really tough parent, right, in your story, so your main character kind of has somebody to push back against and like test the rules. So I thought all of that was working really, really well. The only thing I really didn't like, and we didn't really get that much of it, but like the visualization of the powers. I mean, I know a lot of people were talking about it before the show dropped, so it's worth coming back around to again. I just don't think it looks that cool. Maybe when we get to see it more in action rather than just like her reactionary kind of learning how to use it. But like the whole time I was like, it just looks very generic to me, right? Like, I know like it has this cosmic ability that's being rumored, but to me these like kind of little glass kind of prism things, they're just not visually compelling to me at all. But I did think it was kind of interesting. Sorry for the light spoilers here. They're just all very light. I don't think we're revealing too much. In this first episode, this first episode doesn't even really reveal a whole lot anyway. It's just getting things kicked off. But the kind of end credits, when they're actually showing the credits for it, they are actually just showing tons of Miss Marvel like comic book art, like splattered all over the comic, showing her doing her like embiggening powers. Like there's no kind of like crystal homage to this character at all. So like if I just had to put like a theory out there in the world, I don't think it's likely to happen, but maybe it will, and I just wanted to put it out there in the world, is like maybe these cosmic powers that she's using, maybe by the end of the season, like, right, maybe it will permanently like change her body, and when she's able to kind of like remove the object that gives her powers, maybe she will be permanently altered, right? Because maybe that's why they're leaning so much into it in the credit scene. I don't know. It's just a guess. Overall, I would say I'm positive on the show, though.
It's really fun. Like, there's not a lot of stakes here, right? I think the biggest mystery for me is, well, how do these abilities work? What is their origin, right? Will we get that? How does this tie into Captain Marvel and the Marvels later on? That's my biggest like question marks overall. So I want to see more about that. I don't think they're going to go with the skin. I think they're going to keep the crystals, and I don't mind the colors as much because I feel it fits her costume she's going to come up with later. I think we'll learn it'll all tie in better whenever she's in her actual outfit.
It's not so much the color for me.
Yeah.
It's just like the crystals and stuff.
I like the whole thing. I think it's really on brand with it. But I think what's going to be the only thing that I don't like, and this is how you have to do it for all these things, is the mother. And I know it's probably also a culture thing because they're Muslim, but like the mother's very overbearing and like negative the entire episode, right? I'm like, we get it, we know, but like I again, it's a culture thing, so I'm like, I'll adjust to it. It's fine with me. It's nothing that's gonna get me hung up on it. But very, very excited to see this. I did see someone kind of say, or I think it was maybe at Marvel or Disney, that this show's kind of like a palate cleanser, right? Like it's a very, very light, very low stakes, very, it's against a PG show, not even PG-13. So interesting to kind of check that out as it moves along. So we'll keep you guys posted as more episodes drop. Moving right along this morning, woke up. I sent you tons of texts this morning, reminding you to get your Thor Love and Thunder tickets, Mike. While the gettings were good, I was sitting in the airport about to board. And I'm like, I gotta get these before I get on the plane because otherwise, all the good seats will be taken. And I was able to get mine for IMAX on that opening night for June, I believe 7th at 6 p.m. What about you? You get yours yet, or are you waiting?
Nice. Well, I mean, we'll be figuring out how we're going to handle it on the show, but I'm going to be on vacation.
That's right.
Right when the movie comes out, so I might get a chance to see it overseas. Not 100% sure, but stay tuned. Obviously, we're going to be talking about this movie. Just don't know exact the date yet.
Yes, and then once tickets go on sale, it does confirm that the movie length, right? Because they have to know this to actually schedule out the tickets. So it is confirmed this movie's like an hour and 59 minutes long, which the biggest article is the shortest movie since 2018. I'm like, there's only been like a handful of movies since 2018. So like, not really fair overall. But like, that's a pretty brisk film. I think that worked well for Doctor Strange, right? Keeping it short to the point, rather than floating around and lingering.
It's funny. I've always wondered if there's ever strategic conversations at studios for lengths of films, right? Because especially when you have a movie that people are going to see, right? Technically, the shorter your movie is, a given auditorium in a movie theater might be able to squeeze in one more showtime, right? If the movie's a little bit shorter compared to a longer film like The Batman. So I'm sure it's not the highest priority, but, I wouldn't be surprised if it pops up in conversations of like, we can't have these 3-hour movies because we can't sell technically as many tickets on opening weekend, but who knows?
Yeah, well, it's also good, again, even if that's not the case, a similar conversation is we need to keep these tight. Not every Marvel movie needs to be an Endgame, right? They don't all need to be an Infinity War. Let's get them at 2 hours, get them in, get them out, move along. So 2-hour movie lengths, that's good by me. So again, that's coming out. Tickets are now on sale. Make sure you go buy them, get your seats while you can. Coming out July 8th everywhere, or 7th if you get them on Thursday. So we'll keep you guys posted. What's also interesting about this movie, Mike, is literally we are now in the window where we can get a Black Panther trailer right before this. Like,
oh, weird.
Like,
yeah.
we could be watching a Black Panther trailer with this, or maybe at the end of it, possibly. But we're in that window now for the next movie, which is actually November. So we'll if something comes up, we'll let you guys know. I did not know this. Deadpool 3, we know they hired Shawn Levy, right, to do the directors, but I did not know he brought back the original writers, Rhett, Reese, and Paul Wernick. I was under the impression that the sisters were working on this still.
Oh, the Molyneux sisters,
yes,
from the Bob's Burgers and the Great North.
Yes.
I mean, who knows? This just could be like touch-up, punch-ups, rewrites. Who knows? In the land of television, I feel like it's a little easier to kind of like track historically the writing credits to something. Yeah. But man, with like a movie, like even when like you go on IMDb, right, and you start to see, it's like it's so hard to tell because if you don't reach a certain threshold of like percentage, like you don't even get your name on it if you're just doing certain things. So who knows? Maybe they're just showing up to help solve a problem. Yeah. Maybe they're showing up to just like tweak some dialogue, because that's one thing we do know about the Deadpool character, right? When he has a mask on, you can change that dialogue and post as much as you want. Maybe so it's just some of that. This is something we'll probably never truly know.
Yeah, well, I think we will when the credits come out, because you're familiar with writing guild stuff. If they write a certain percentage of it, they have to get a credit. If their names don't show up, they probably didn't use anything. So the biggest thing about this was I missed this news about the writers, and it's like 2 months old. So that was like I was looking at it, I was like we've always been under the impression the Molyneux sisters were here, but I did not know that with Shawn Levy. So I want to make sure I went back and bring that, because the official news this week is Raymond Chan joins Deadpool 3 as a production designer. Now, you may be asking us, why would you bring that to the news front, Chris? Well, when a production designer's on board, that means they're actually working on making this movie happen. Very much moving forward, getting to, how the suits, the sets, and everything is gonna look. Raymond Chan comes from a line of MCU stuff, going all the way back to Thor: The Dark World, and working on the better projects such as Guardians of the Galaxy, Doctor Strange, Infinity War, and Endgame. So, MCU veteran coming in to work on Deadpool here. So, I think that's great news, right? Like, that's what we want. We want to know when this is going to come out, and when it is R-rated. So, how's this going to work in the MCU at large? Just maybe on the outside.
It's those parental controls on Disney Plus, right? That's all they needed to get done before they could release this movie, so they should be good to go.
Yeah. So we'll keep you guys posted if we hear anything. Probably Comic-Con later this year. Surprise news here, according to Deadline, the Thunderbolts movie, which I did not have on my bingo card. I probably had it more of like a Disney Plus show. Adds Jake Schreier as a director. Now, you said Jake Schreier from some stuff he's done here. I'm gonna
I don't remember exactly what it was off the top of my head, but when you sent it my way last week, I did look him up, and all of his kind of directing credits seemed to be attached to TV, and they're all shows that I liked. So that's a good sign if he's been involved in things that I've already liked. I think the question is, I think the question is when it comes to Thunderbolts, like, what is the makeup of the team, right?
Yeah.
You know, are we expecting to get a little Falcon and the Winter Soldier cameo characters in there? Who knows? Taskmaster, maybe.
I say Taskmaster's an opportunity, if not Yelena, right? We have this Julie Louis-Dreyfus's character. Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, whatever it all is, kind of handing out assignments. We also have, like you said, what's his name? U.S. It's not Patriot. What's his name? The guy from Falcon and Winter Soldier, the Captain America guy. You got those two kind of lined up here. Is the Abomination going to be in this? You know, from the She-Hulk stuff.
I jumped on Google Images, and of course, people have already been making Thunderbolts fan casting for a while now. And one that I didn't think of that we haven't really had much follow up on is the White Vision.
Yeah,
somebody kind of has this here in their roster. I mean that would really overpower your team for sure. Like, you don't really need much else on the Thunderbolts if you have White Vision. So who knows if that's going to happen? Yeah. My obviously my only main concern is. It seemed like some of these characters come out of some of my least liked Marvel properties, like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So if any retconning needs to be done, I'm okay with that. Or if any better writing needs to be done, I'm okay with that.
Well, I think you know, I don't think this will have anything. I don't think the characters affect the writing. Like, a bad writer makes a bad character. I think if you have a good movie, you have this. But what's interesting is, to me, is this in reaction to the success of the Suicide Squad, right? They've kind of been planting these seeds. You know, this isn't even officially announced by Marvel or Disney. This is a deadline kind of thing. So it may not eventually see, but it's just like, you know, James Gunn has had a really good success with the Suicide Squad. He's having success with, what was the character that ran Peacemaker? You know, is this Marvel's reaction to those characters a little bit?
I feel
because they could be disposable, very disposable along the way.
It seems like whether or not it's reactionary, it's inevitable at some point in time, right? Like, the Marvel train's not stopping. So, you know, if you're just being logical and just kind of going through like iconic teams within the Marvel universe, you know, okay, Thunderbolts, let's get it going. So, and also, like, you know, how reactionary could it be when they've already kind of set the seeds for a lot of these characters too? So, but yeah, I think the main question is the reaction would truly be based on what rating does this movie get, right? Now, if it's rated R, I would say, yes, they are reacting to the success of the Suicide Squad. But, you know, the success of that movie is kind of murky, right? Because it dropped, like, kind of during the pandemic, and then it was also on HBO Max as well. So it's like, okay, well, how much, you know, can you really see how successful that was? But, I mean, we enjoyed it.
Right.
So
well,
yeah, I think the rating of it is going to be really what determines if it was reactionary.
Well, I mean, it could be that. It could also be like how many of these characters live out of this, right? Like, are they don't have to be. It doesn't have to be R-rated to kill characters off. I think that's kind of the thing. Like, can we turn villains into these heroes? Now, are any of these characters that we mentioned really villains at the end of the day in Marvel, right? Like, everyone's had like sort of a redemptionary kind of arc there at the end. Even U.S. Agent was like, I'll help the guys at the end. So, like, you know, there are also other iterations of it. You know, when Paul Schreier is right, is it Paul Schreier? Whatever, on his account on Instagram, the image he showed from an article includes Hawkeye and America Chavez, and none of the characters we mentioned thus far. So, could it be more? Is this their Young Avengers kind of initiative instead?
I don't know.
And then they've just given it a name that Marvel, you know, calls, because Marvel's very, very fond of using names not necessarily in the order the comic books use them in. So that's just one thing, you know, we can kind of keep our eyes on. Is this something that, you know, they'll use, you know, the kids for along the way? So I'm interested. I want to know who's writing it. Right? You said that's an important part. Who's writing this? And will this go to theaters, or will this be a Disney Plus movie? Because I could easily see them saying, you know what, we could do this this movie if we're using characters that appeared in the Disney Plus shows. Let's put it on the streaming service. So I'm gonna guess Disney Plus Day will tell us a little bit more about this, whether it's there or not along the way. Moving along, Spider-Man No Way Home. Sony has announced is returning this to theaters after the bomb that was Morbius returning to theaters. They are decided, I guess, maybe the same guy's like, let me redeem myself. Let's put Spider-Man back in theaters, but we're going to put out the more fun stuff version, which is a horrible name, by the way, for this. And we love Spider-Man. We love No Way Home. The teaser is literally just them, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland sitting around saying, I'm Spider-Man, no, I'm Spider-Man, no, I'm Spider-Man. Okay, well, let's do this again. And then literally it's just a trailer, or the logo. I hate this idea so much, Mike. I don't know how you feel, but I just hate it, and I can't find the words to describe why I hate it. But it just seems cheap.
I think we're both surprised and we're both a little disappointed because I think both of us forgot that Sony had been doing this already, right? Sony has been re-releasing these their kind of Marvel Sony Spider-Man properties just to rake in more money, right? Because I have a feeling when it comes to the legality of their worlds and their characters with Marvel, like that's the best place for them to make dollars is at the box office. So yes, let's just re-release it. It is a weird title. I guess it doesn't technically hurt anybody or anything, so I'm not too concerned about it. But yeah, it's pretty kind of like a cringy ask of just like, please give us more money. Yeah. I mean, and they will. They'll make some money. So I don't know if they're gonna get any big headlines out of the re-release.
No, I mean it's like in September, which is weird. Weird month for it, right? I guess nothing else is going on.
Yeah. This is the headline it gets right now. Like after this news cycle is over, maybe there'll be a blip again if something truly new and engaging is on it, because obviously they say it's an extended version, but is there really going to be anything that they can pull out of there as like a reveal? And probably not.
The biggest thing I could think of is there's just a lot more Spider-Man team-up footage in the back half that they want to put in here.
Or there's just like cut conversations like, oh, Ned chatted with this Spider-Man, or MJ chatted with this Spider-Man in this science room, and they had to cut it for time.
And the thing is with me, I mean, again, none of these are going to Disney Plus. I don't think the final version will be the one that is accredited in the MCU going forward. Like, but this just reeks of whatever they did. Like, was it Batman v Superman, the Dawn of Justice edition or whatever? Mm-hmm. The longer versions along the way. So I blame Lord of the Rings. They did it right, but they've encouraged everyone else to do it half-assed the rest of the time. So, whatever. I probably won't go back to theaters, but again, reminder: Spider-Man No Way Home now available to bring it home. So you watch it. Spider-Man Across the Universe dropped some information today as well, Mike. This is the benefit of doing this on a Monday. We have confirmation that the big bad villain for this movie will be voiced by Jason Schwartzman and is a character called Spot. Are you familiar with Spot? The Spot?
Oh, why does it sound... Am I just thinking of Polka Dot Man, and that's why this sounds familiar? Or was this a character that was floated at some other time in the past? Because it's in my head for some reason.
He's never been in anything except the animated shows. So I think that's about it. So it's essentially a white suit person with black dots all over him. But the dots are portals to the other dots, right? So he's literally making his own portals. And in this animation, this clip we see here from Across the Spider-Verse, you see Miles kicking him in one of the holes, his foot coming out the other one and hitting Gwen instead. So he's if it's Across the Spider-Verse, about crossing dimensions, maybe this character is using his holes to go across dimensions. This artwork also shows him looking a little leaky, right? Like he's got like black goo maybe coming out of some of his spots,
or possibly maybe like an ink or something like that.
Very stylized. I love the look of him. I mean, this fits into the Spider-Verse theme very much so. And Jason Schwartzman, great actor, great voice actor. So seems pretty cool here. But man, I want another trailer other than that little teaser we got.
Oh yeah, hopefully we'll get something here soon.
Yeah. So check that out. That's news that dropped today. I believe they said more information might be dropping later today. for this week, so we'll keep.
They
you guys
can't
posted.
drop it until their computers are finished rendering it. Probably like, give us 12 more hours, then we can send this clip to PR.
Oh yeah, exactly. Here's another character or two we're gonna reveal to you, but yes, apparently the Spot's the big villain for this one. Black Adam. I believe this is the next DC property, right? Coming up, gave us our first official trailer on Monday, and I believe your exact words were like about time. We've been waiting for this Black Adam movie forever. The Rock, huge name, huge person, will be playing this. We got our first trailer here. Really didn't give me anything new. I felt, Mike, that we needed to see how this movie's going to be.
Yeah, it's a little like, I am not super familiar with the character or his like world or worlds in general, but I can't totally tell. He's not an Earthbound character, right? Does he come to Earth?
No, he is. He's a Shazam powered character.
Yeah, it's like,
but
it's not.
He went evil,
not
so like that's why they locked him away.
Yeah, I guess the biggest takeaway from this trailer is like when he just like straight up says like, I kill people, something along those lines. So he will be murdering fools. So I guess they're going for that full PG-13 rating.
They use in that teaser for like We Need Heroes. They use the same Hawkman footage. They use the same Atom Smasher footage. The only thing is Dr. Fate has like a Doctor Strange mirror dimension effect in front of him.
Yeah, and there's a couple technologically advanced
motorbikes,
like vehicles. Like there's like some like speed bikes and some planes. So I guess that's maybe why my brain was thinking like Alien. So I don't know if there's some sort of advanced organization like hunting down Black Adam.
I don't know who the villains are here, so I'll give you that credit. To me, and I hate to say this because I feel bad saying it, but this trailer has a bunch of shots that remind me of Iron Man 1. And
a little bit of the first Thor movie too, like when the van is kind of out in the middle of that open area and they just happen to come across Black Adam, right?
Yeah, it reminds me of like when Iron Man got hit by that tank shell, right? Like he goes from that and then he catches the missile. He throws the guy hits him, and that's the same Iron Man scene where the guy comes up and tries to shoot him, right? The terrorist does in his new red suit, and he ends up like knocking him through the wall or across the town. There's a lot of similarities, and maybe I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm not saying it's ripping off Iron Man by any means, but like it felt like a lot of the scenes were cut, including those Iron Man shots.
I mean, it's a brutal origin story for a character, right? Like a former slave now, like becomes like the worst. The worst. Kind of. It also kind of mirrors, I feel like, a little bit in the Luke Cage Netflix series. Yep. Like the scariest thing, is like a bulletproof black man. I think somebody says that verbatim in the show. So it's like, okay, well, imagine like a slave that you were, basically like using as just like an object becomes like all powerful. So you can kind of see the rage there. But yeah, like I said, I don't know a whole lot about the character, so if I had to wager a guess, is he's not going to remain fully, bad forever, right? He's got to be just bad enough to put a fight on screen, right, where he fights Shazam, but not bad enough to where like, he's killing really any of the heroes, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think any of these heroes are going to be killed either. I think that'll be his lesson. Like at the end, he like, I could kill you, villain, but like instead I've learned my ways. I feel it's fine. I'm excited to see this. The Rock's awesome. Comes out in October. It's perfect time for this to come out, right? So excited to kind of see that. And also, like you said, looks like it takes place in the past, in the current time. I did see like one. It looks like maybe he had his arm cut off, or like someone cut him up the middle because he's like falling off a cliff, 300 style, with like blood coming off of him. Thought that was a pretty cool shot. So, Black Adam, next DC movie coming out October 21st. Trailer is in the show notes. Surprise announcement this week: the Joker sequel is officially in the works from director Todd Phillips, guy who did the first one, right? I call it Foley Adu, which is the name of that Fall Out Boy album from like 2007.
Did you? I just Googled it because I was like, oh yeah, I remember when you sent this to me earlier in the week. Had that French subtitle or whatever, so I looked it up. And apparently it's a mental disorder. It's a kind of like a phenomena when two individuals share the kind of same delusional disorder shared by like common trauma, which I guess makes, kind of sense if a really traumatic event is going to give somebody, a mental issue.
Yeah.
If two people experience it at the exact same time, you could theoretically develop the same mental problem. So is this hinting at the probably not two Jokers, but that would be really, really funny, right?
Yeah.
What do we do in the sequel? Another Joker? Okay, let's do that.
Well,
my guess it probably has something to do with maybe like Bruce Wayne or maybe another villain.
That's the thing. Like, the Joker is a villain. Who's the villain for a villain? Is that a good guy? Is that an even worse person? I don't know what's going on. The second image does show Joaquin Phoenix is here reading the script. I always forget he doesn't look anything like he did in the Joker in real life. But who do you make the antagonist of the Joker? Is it
the cigarette companies, because he's smoking a cigarette in this picture?
To me, I think you're right. Like, DC did a thing called the Three Jokers recently. I don't think they do Three Jokers, but is there somebody else maybe pretending to be the Joker in this world, and he wants to take the credit for it? I don't know. I think the first one's a good movie. It's not something that I go back to. It's kind of a depressing film, right? Like you don't feel good watching it. So, but this is probably one of the first moves by that new guy who's running DC, right? Who came over from Discovery. Mm-hmm. So good for them to do this, I guess.
Yeah, it does seem strange to make a sequel kind of out of that film, right? But in what world does a studio not capitalize on the success, right? It would be asinine to kind of like leave the money on the table, even though there might be some artistic integrity there. It just made way too much money to not do this.
Yeah, 100%. I think, they always say if the script's right, that doesn't mean anything. I think at the end of the day, whether I don't know if the script will ever be right for something like this, but I'm interested to see what it'll look like. At least an attempt will be made. Todd Phillips is no stranger from doing sequels, even threequels, with those Hangover movies he did to get this far. I think the only other thing is I did see just to throw this on there, the guy who does who's running Warner Brothers now from Discovery wanted Todd Phillips to like be their Kevin Feige for like the DC stuff, like, but he's like, I don't know anything about the actual comic books. I just know the Joker, so I don't think that's going to happen. But they still need somebody over there to kind of run the ship a little bit. I've not caught up to The Boys yet, Mike. Episode 4, I know, dropped on Friday, right? Mm-hmm. But due to the strong success of the first 3 episodes, I even think they announced this on the day of the 4th one. They've already Amazon's renewed this for a 4th season. So,
man, I'm glad we have this in the show notes though, because so far this season of The Boys, and just The Boys in general, I think is some of the strongest superhero storytelling that we have going on like right now across like all of media. Like The Boys is just great and I'm loving it, so I very happy to see a 4th season. I'm looking forward to more of it.
What I hate about this announcement is like I literally feel anyone could die at any second in the show. Like anyone could, like, it reminds you how we're all just big like bodies of blood and guts, right? Like because of how the show is. So like I hate that they said I was renewed for 4th season, because I'm like, well, that means somebody, or at least most of these people, are going to live through it, right? Like, I like not knowing when I turn this on. Like anyone could die any second here in a heartbeat, and it's
and then when this makes me sound so sadistic, but when they do die, it's usually bloody and gory, and there's like pieces of people.
Oh yeah, like the end of the first episode, literally. So you have one guy who's doing CGI to make people explode, right, in different chunks, and then literally another person physically going out and spraying the set with fake blood. So like, I'm like, this has got to go through more squibs and fake blood than any other show out there right now. So I like The Boys again. Not appropriate for children, I would say, but definitely does not pull any punches. You think by the 3rd season they're like, oh, we got a lot more eyes on this. Again, not the cold open. The 2nd scene literally proves that they can do anything in the show and get away with it. I would hate to be the person asking about that scene, Mike. So
there's a great in this most recent episode. So I think it would be the 4th episode. There is a hysterical fight scene, and I'll kind of leave it at that. And it just makes you go, oh, I wish I could have been in the room when they pitched that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it exists, previously in the comics anywhere, but it's like, oh, this is great.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm very excited to catch up on that this week. We spent here last week finishing Stranger Things. We had the choice, so we were like, let's go ahead and finish Stranger Things. And I was walking in Austin, Texas yesterday, up in a down street, going to several stores, and I walked by a restaurant blaring "Running Up That Hill" from Stranger Things. Oh
man, it's crazy. So that Kate Bush song, yeah, when I started hearing it was getting popular, like the weekend that Stranger Things came out, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go on Spotify and kind of like see how it's doing. And it wasn't in the U.S. or world charts yet, but it was kind of on their viral charts, which I don't really know how Spotify determines what is viral out there song-wise, but I decided to go back and check now because I hear the song constantly on TikTok now. I'm seeing people talk about it all the time, and it is now number one, like across the board, like on the world charts, on the U.S. charts. It's crazy. Like, and I guess Harry Styles' brand new album, which was dominating, has just gotten pushed down. So it's Kate Bush all the way.
37-year-old song, like, taken back number one. I just that's wild. Like we said, it's just the power of these shows and what they can put in there and do. It's crazy. So moving along, this is a big thing for you, Mike. Here, The Last of Us are. I think this might be the first official photo showing both Joel and Ellie in the upcoming show here.
Yeah, there's been some decent like telephoto lens paparazzi shots from sets like over the last few weeks that have been really clear. But this is the first one, and I'm glad you put it on here where you can kind of see a clicker in the background. I didn't even catch that the first time I saw this picture because it's just so dark and subtle back there. But yeah, this looks great. I have a friend that is a gigantic Last of Us fan, and I feel like he breaks out into a sweat every time anything happens with this TV show. He's like so excited. So I'm down. Yeah,
it's got a lot of I wouldn't say weight to it, but a lot of I don't know, pressure to get it right. Like, Sony didn't do well with Uncharted. This is their second property, and they also license everything else for streaming.
Yeah, admittedly, I haven't been doing a great job like keeping track of video game adaptations, but
there's not a lot.
A lot of successful ones. I think the only that's coming to my forefront is like Detective Pikachu,
Sonic,
which is not even really like directly related, but it is connected to that franchise, and I thought that was good, and I like the adaptation. Maybe this will be the first thing that really kind of breaks through and says, video games can do it.
Sonic did it. I mean, like I said, Sonic 2.
Oh, yeah, that's 2.
Right. The fact Sonic even got a 2, and they're making a third one is just fantastic.
I admitted I wasn't keeping track of this.
Yeah, I know. Well, I know that it's just that one. We watched Mortal Kombat. That was a kind of a letdown, right? There wasn't actually no Mortal Kombat in there. And I was trying to think of the other one. The Rock did Rampage a couple years ago, which I was like, we like The Rock, but he doesn't always make all the best decisions along the way. So, I'm excited to see this. This is a streaming show going to HBO. A lot of prestige content coming out of HBO. So we'll keep you guys posted. Lastly, I wanted to cover, talk a little bit about the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, episode 4 here, because thank God I was able to avoid spoilers all day Wednesday for this. And you've watched this, Mike, right? So episode 4 discussion here. If you've not seen it, walk away. If not, come back. Did not expect a Jedi tomb at the bottom of this Inquisitor temple. And the first one they show is actually a character from the Clone Wars who helped Ahsoka find her lost lightsaber in the underground of Coruscant. So I was like,
I had a feeling when this scene popped up, I was like, oh, this scene is for Chris. He's going to understand and know where these characters are from. I was just kind of none of these look familiar for me, so these all must be deeper cuts that I don't get.
Well, it also kind of flashes forward to something they do in Rebels. Do you want to know what they do in Rebels, or do you want me to leave it?
Yes.
Okay.
You can tell me.
So the Inquisitors, the Grand Inquisitor, uses the bones and remnants of one of the Jedis from the Clone Wars, the green skinned girl with the stuff who looks like Ahsoka, but she's green. They use her body to lure Jedi in to trap them and kill them. So like they're like, oh, come help me, I'm this Jedi, I need help, and they get there and like it's just her bones, and it's like,
oh God,
like it's like pretty grim for it. But like to see that they have like these are obviously corpses. They're like someone's like, oh, maybe they're in stasis. I'm like, none of these people are in stasis. These are just corpses, literally like trophy room kind of thing.
Yeah, it does make me. I feel like there is this like underlying maybe story that is trying to be told, maybe like, and we saw it through The Mandalorian with like kind of like the labs and the genetics and the hints to cloning, and then you have like these Jedis and tombs, and now that you bring up this creepy bone sorcery that you're talking about, it seems like they're maybe working their way up to like some sort of like storyline where like Star Wars is maybe going to briefly switch from fantasy to like science fiction, because I think that was the hardest thing to like stomach with all of the cloning of the Emperor in the new trilogy, right? Is because so much of the plot hinged on this like science, right? But when you do it in the Clone Wars and the prequels, it's not that big of a deal, right? Because it's just like you're just kind of making just things to kill, right? You're just making like a personality-less soldiers. But they do get more personalities in the Clone Wars TV show.
Right, but for the movies, like if you look at all those movies, it makes more sense earlier on.
So it does make me feel like we're getting into some sort of like dark side science maybe coming up here, because we're seeing a lot more laboratory type settings. My
idea with this, because we saw they were going to use Grogu's blood, right? They were going to use his body. These bodies, and I looked up, it was a Master Luminara, but these bodies here, maybe they need Force-sensitive midi-chlorian-filled blood to do the cloning of the Emperor's body.
Maybe,
and that's like the underlying thing. Like, we can't just do a normal human, it'd be easy. But we don't like the M word in the Star Wars world.
if they go down that line in the series, I would love them to do something also with it. Like, don't just like backdoor an excuse of why the Emperor was cloned, because trust me, even doing that is not going to make me like that last movie, no matter how well you explain it. But like, I don't know, bring somebody else back or do something else cool with it, and then you can also say like, oh, I'm here. I have been brought back to life because we use this also to do the Emperor. Because I guess if you start to see like maybe the beginnings of it, right? Because this is the Obi-Wan timeline, then you got to move through the original trilogy to kind of get to like the Baby Yoda Grogu era. So I guess we'll see infancy of this stuff popping off in Obi-Wan.
Yeah, like you said, it's like some sort of like there's it's running a through line in the back of everything. I don't think it's getting towards the Emperor because I believe the people running Obi-Wan and Mandalorian are smarter than to try to do anything with that era, right? Like, they don't want to do that. But we also saw that Jedi Survivor trailer last week with that kind of like armless person in that Bacta tank.
The Bacta tank is like the sensu bean of the Star Wars universe. Like, everybody gets thrown into a Bacta tank.
Exactly.
Like, so much so, like, I haven't read it yet, but I pulled up the Wikipedia page because I was like, I gotta know more about, if we're gonna be getting more Bacta tanks like every other episode, I'm gonna read up about them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it's funny because like they didn't even include one until like Empire Strikes Back for the first time, whenever Luke got hit by the Wampa. But
like, I'm starting to get what was that District 9 sequel for the director? It wasn't a sequel, but was it Elysium?
Elysium.
Yeah, like, I'm getting strong Elysium vibes here with these like healing pods that'll fix everybody.
Yeah. Well, like you said, exactly. It's very much like even Dragon Ball had a Bacta tank. Remember when in the Frieza saga?
They had one too.
Yeah.
Not only did they have the sensu beam, but they had the tank.
Yeah. So exactly. So yeah, it is like it's a catch-all thing here. But I was really interested to see. Overall, if anything from this episode stands out, is that they are keeping Jedi bodies, even the youngling, like the one shot that they cut too quickly, the youngling, right, frozen there, was kind of, it's creepy and it's weird, and I like that bit of Star Wars. I like the stuff that's like not normal. Like the dark side users / Sith are into some weird shit, and this is what I'm in it for. So very excited to see that. We've got 2 more episodes left. It is time to get the lightsabers out and then redo the battles. Let's see the lightsaber battles. Let's get to it. So that's where I'm at. But goddamn, that Jedi tomb is so weird. I love it. Anything else you want to add before we get out of here? We're on a time schedule, and I think we just hit it. So
I think that's a week here for us.
Okay.
Enjoy this. I don't think you benefited too much from getting this on a Monday, except we got to tell you those Thor tickets are out and available, which is something we couldn't have told you if we recorded on a Sunday.
The Spider-Man No Way Across the Spider-Verse villain was today.
See, there you go. Some advantages of waiting till Monday.
Yeah. Lay it on us, Mike. Where can people find you at?
Oh, you can find me at Mike Royer Design on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, people want to catch up with you. Where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Valdan, Valdan, or Instagram, Valdan87. People know about the show, what we're doing, maybe listen to some of those reviews we've got, or the Thor one coming up in a month. Where can they get all that good stuff at? Yes,
if you want to find the headquarters for Superhero Slate, where I promise we do not have any corpses of Jedis in our basement, you can find that at superheroslate.com. That's the best place to find all the avenues we host our show and to get our awesome show notes. We actually have a lot of links in the show notes this week, so if you want to check out all of those visual things that we were talking about, all those links there at superheroslate.com. You can find us at Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, wherever else you love to listen to fine podcasts like ours. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and you can get merch at superheroslate.com/store. We love hearing from you. Please reach out. Let us know, what do you think is happening in the cloning realm for Star Wars. I want to know what people's theories are. And we love hearing from you. And we love our super fans, too. So if you want to be a super fan of this show, all you got to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we'll be here every week, folks.
That's right. We'll catch you guys next week.
All right, bye.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.